Hello everyone, welcome back to Trophy Travel Experiences. Today I'm doing a review of a recent flight I had in business class on British Airways from Toronto Pearson Airport to Heathrow Airport in London. And the plane, there's different planes that British Airways uses for this route, but on this flight I was on the Airbus A350-1000, which I'm told is the best or newest aircraft that they use for this itinerary. I was seated in the middle aisle with my wife and 16E and 16F. So, but I got on board early and got a picture of some of the other ones. This is the aisle seat or the window seat. And this is just an example of it. I thought it was before other people came in, I could give you a view of that seat. So it's quite spacious. I actually like the design of this aircraft. Lots of spacing, lots of places to put things. So I think it's quite a good design and very comfortable. The amenity bag that they give you on board, it's okay, and I'll show the contents in the next couple of videos. I want to talk a little bit about the service at British Airways and the food, which are two things that you kind of look forward to, and both were very disappointing on this flight. First, the service. I thought there was two problems with it. One was I thought they actually treated some people better than other people. Secondly, that the service I thought was not good at all. They didn't come around at all at any time to kind of take orders. They were kind of, I felt quite lazy on the flight. So just dinner and service, that's about it. So here's the amenity bag. You get the socks and the night blinds, then a couple of creams, balms, so earplugs. I thought it was an okay set. It wasn't spectacular, but it was enough. I like that they have a toothbrush, but nothing really surprised me in the set. But going back to the service, again, I don't think they actually came around to give water in the middle of the flight. I don't think they were that helpful. I don't think they were that friendly. They were okay. Now, there was one exception. There was one stewardess who was working really hard on the other side of the aisle, my wife's side. In fact, she was working so hard that I had to ask her for things because our side was not being looked after. And also, yeah, for instance, the breakfast that they served was, I think, within an hour of landing. So I actually didn't finish my breakfast until about 30 minutes before the flight ended. That's a little bit cutting it close for flights. So I just felt that all in all, the crew was not good. But the funny thing is that they did not give me a survey for this flight, but they gave me a survey for the other flight, my connecting flight. This is the actual my seat, and in the middle you can see it's kind of a nice seat if you share with someone that you know on the other side of it. You can close that blind, and the other thing is that with the A350 it has its own door, and I'll show that in this later photo. So it is enclosed, so it's really not that bad even if you're in the middle seat. One of the things about the middle seat is that sometimes you will be disturbed if someone opens the window, and but in this situation, you have your divider that closes you off from the aisle, so it doesn't really disturb you if someone opens the window or opens their blinds in the middle of the flight. This is a picture of the little space that's by your head on the left-hand side. And in there's the amenity bag, which I went through, and also a bottle of water. I thought all in all, I like this setting in terms of it has a lot of space in your seat where you can put things, and you don't have to just put everything above your seat in the overhead compartments. And there's lots of space where you can put things like chargers and your cell phone and things like that. So I really like the space. This is a picture of the actual seat. It's quite nice in terms of the design. It looks like the padding is quite good, and it looks modernized. It doesn't look like it's been worn too much. And so I like the design, and I actually like the seat. It's quite comfortable in lie flat mode, lots of padding. Here is a short video of the space that I was mentioning before, and then there's a little compartment where you can store things. It's quite large. Here's the screen, which is quite large, and then the pull-out table, which is very handy. It can, when you have dinner, it very close to you. And then likewise, when you're not using it, it can be stored upright, so it's not bothering you too much. This is the cocktail or spirit menu, and I like that they do have some cocktails and mocktails and along with spirits. I did try, I think, one of the mocktails and one of the cocktails, so it's kind of nice to have that extra in business class in British Airways. Here is the menu. So after you get on board, you do get a supper, and then shortly before you arrived, again, it was very late in this flight, about 1 hour before, they serve you breakfast. And so we'll go through what I had, but I think it was on paper a very decent menu. Unfortunately, some of the food quality wasn't as good, and I'm very disappointed with British Airways in terms of the product. I don't think it's actually a premier product anymore. The service is, I would say, not as good compared to other business classes. Likewise, the food, which used to be a standout, is not either. So that's disappointing. This is the meal service for breakfast that is offered about, it's supposed to normally be around 2 hours or hour 20 before the flight lands. But again, in this situation, the crew didn't start serving breakfast till around like 1 hour. Maybe it was just a large business class section, but I felt it was really, really tight in terms of when we were going to land. So either the staff were just overwhelmed. I don't know what was happening, but it again adds to why I think the staff on this flight were not very good. This is the wine list, and this is the same wine list that you get when you go the other way from London to Toronto. So, fairly decent list. I wouldn't say totally exciting, but most business class are not that exciting, anyways. I would say it would be better than Air Canada's wine list, but far cry from Emirates or Qatar business class wine list. I did have a glass of the champagne and then a glass of the American Chardonnay for dinner. For dinner, I ordered the smoked salmon, but they ran out of smoked salmon, I guess, for the whole flight. So they substituted it with the shrimp. But I only found out about that because the nice airline stewardess that was serving my wife's side said that to her. And I found out, whereas on my side, they just kind of plopped it down without any explanation. Quick video of the meal service. By the way, the shrimp was quite nice, so I thought that was the best part of the meal probably. And then I had the lamb shanks for my main course. I thought it was decent. I've had worse food, but again, I would say my recollection in the past is British Airways has always been very strong in terms of their food, and this time I did not feel that. I thought it was decent, but there's lots of room for improvement. And then I finished off with a cheese course, and cheese is always good, so I don't think there's any complaints about that. But all in all, I would say the food quality was okay, a little bit probably disappointing, but the service was very, very slow. I think it took quite a long time. And I found this on subsequent flights also. But my flight backwards from London to Toronto, it was so slow. It was I think over 2 hours almost, that I just decided to skip dessert because it was so slow. This is the divider door that I'm talking about. This is on all new British Airways business class. And it really does make a difference because it does slide over. So I'm in the middle seat. If, for instance, the person on the aisle or the window with their window is open, I don't really get bothered very much by it. For breakfast, I had these scrambled eggs with cheese. And this is honestly how it came out. So you can see lack of care with the production. It's just sloppy and not very aesthetically pleasing how they put it on the plate. It was, again, decent, but again, it's just the look of things. And overall, the service standard was quite low, I would say. So overall, the flight experience, the food, the service was quite disappointing. I think this is a trend for British Airways. Unfortunately, I think it's on a downward spiral. I don't know what's happened to it. We had 4 flights on my trip, and I would say the long hauls were both service was not good. On the flight back from London to Toronto, very nice people, but friendly, but very slow, and not really that sophisticated or professional. On the shorter haul flights that I had, they were okay, but I wouldn't say exceptional. And I've always thought of British Airways as a quite a very good airline, and very high end service, good quality food. That's all gone, and that's really unfortunate. But that's, I don't know what the problem is there, but I would say that's not an airline that I really look forward to flying at any time. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, safe travels.